What is up, you guys? My name is Roman, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. And welcome back to another movie review. In case you couldn't tell already, um, today I'm going to be reviewing Spider Man Brand New Day, which is the new Spider Man movie in the MCU. And yeah, um, without any further ado, let's dive into it. So, starting right off the bat, I really liked it. In fact, I loved it. I thought it was awesome, but not amazing. I mean, it was cool, but not as good as not as good as No Way Home. I still think No Way Home is better than this, but it still was pretty awesome nonetheless. Okay. So this would be just like a well, like some of my other reviews, I'm gonna start off spoiler free, but then later in the video there will be a spoiler section. So right now you're good, but for now you're good, but I'll let you know when it happens. But for now you're good. So don't click off just yet if you haven't seen it. But anyways, so um let's get into it, shall we? Well, okay, well, I just said that, but let's start off with Peter's. Okay, so first off, there's Peter's isolation and mutation twist. So the movie opens. The movie opens with a highly grounded Peter Parker, living in a dusty, isolated, New York City, attic, and it picks up where the last one left off, cause where he's entirely alone, and and he's just he's living his life, he's going on living, and but he's still kind of keeping what, because remember in the last movie, uh I guess this is spoilers for those that haven't seen the last one, but for those who don't know, or no, for those who did remember, you'll recall in the last movie, No Way Home, Doctor Strange had to cast a spell to make everyone forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Like, they forget his true identity. So they still remember Spider-Man, they just forgot who he is. Like, they don't know who his true identity is. Like, Peter Parker doesn't exist. So like MJ and Ned don't know who he is anymore. Like they like Peter Parker doesn't exist to them. So yeah, but he's still kind of keeping in touch. Like, he's watching over them on Instagram. They do kind of do like a time jump, or like not time jump. Yeah, like they go through their years at MIT or whatever, and he's watching them on Instagram, and but yeah, he's at first it seems like he's doing well as Spider-Man. Like, he apparently he actually does still have an AI, but like an AI of his own, like not made with Stark tech. Like, he still has a high tech suit, but it's no longer made with Stark tech because he doesn't have access to it anymore. But either way, that's pretty cool. I forget what his AI is called, but yeah, he still has an AI assistant. And then apparently something's going wrong with him. Again, right now I'm gonna keep spoilers to a minimum, I but this will be minor. But basically, the movie opens. So yeah, like no, so like basically he's starting to mutate, and is like he has like these spider hormones kicking in or something like that, and it's causing him to have organic web shooters, much like Tobey Maguire, and also black eye aggression, where he's under stress, his eyes turn pitch black, and his spider senses become more painfully hyper tend, if that's the right word, leading to a more violent fighting style, like up to the point where he almost kills his opponent, and he also gets he almost like gets people killed, like innocent people. But basically, like, so he's mutating, and uh it's kind of like Venom in a way, because like he's sensitive to sound, that sort of thing. But he does get this inhibitor to like put on his neck to like stop him from losing control of his powers. But yeah, so that's where I'm gonna stop right there, just to because I'm still keeping spoilers to a minimum. But basically, uh, the villain mute. Let's talk about the section two, the villain and mutant setup. The true now the villain was set up pretty well, um, and and but I'll talk more about that later. Let's also talk about other stuff, like I thought the Punisher was great in it. Um, um, I think there was yeah, he had some good moments. And what else? Oh yeah, and there's also the Hulk, Bruce Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo, and he makes an absolute most of it. Uh, like he's the absolute most. He makes the absolute most of his screen time acting as a mentor figure who poses heavy uh thematic questions about embracing one's nature and new threat. And then there's new threat. So Sadie Sink delivers a raw and beautifully layered performance as a complex antagonist whose painful past serves as a pigment mirror to Peter's own journey. And okay, I think I can't help myself, so I think we're gonna get into spoilers now. So um, I think I mean, I've kind of gotten into a little detail, but now I'm really going to get into details about it. So I highly suggest you click off now if you want to avoid spoilers. But for those who have seen it, still tune in. So basically, um, we now know in the film. So in the film, we learned that Sadie Sink is like the true antagonist is not a classic Spider-Man villain, but actually um, a teenage Jean Grey, played by Sadie Sink, and driven by grief after her sister is harmed, she uses invisible psi- psi- psionic powers. Sorry, I wrote a script, and I forgot how to pronounce the word in it, so I looked it up. But anyways, psionic powers, and basically, like, yeah. So she uses psionic powers to target. So she uses psionic powers to target the Department of Damage Control, or DODC, and 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 yeah, I thought she did great as Jean Grey. I think her performance. I think, and not only that, but we were right about her being Jean Grey because I remember speculating. I remember us fans speculating that she might be Jean Grey or someone else or someone, but we mostly guessed Jean Grey, and we were right. So I couldn't believe it, and yeah, so that was a highlight of it. And what else? Um, oh yeah, so this introduced the concept of native MCU mutants. Jean represents the early waves of anti-mutant hysteria, especially after Damage Control had Bill what's his name? Bill Metziger. Am I saying that right? I don't know. But exploits the chaos, and she wants him dead for that. But and then Hulk's inhibitor, Mark Ruffalo appears, like Bruce Banner appears to navigate his mutation, and Banner relies on a technological inhibitor to repress Hulk. In a thrilling twist, Jean mentally hacks Banner and rips off the inhibitor and brings back the terrifying, purely angry version of the Hulk, which was honestly great to see. Um, but here's the thing, like he, as soon as he like falls and turns back into Bruce Banner, they say they're taking him to a mental hospital or something like that. But like, don't they know how to work things out better? Like don't they know who he is? Like he's the Hulk. It's not like his identity is a secret and they don't know that the Hulk is Bruce Banner. Like no, it's to the public. They should know that by now. But yeah, it's just another pothole. And uh and then also and also while we're on plot holes, let's talk about another thing. Let's talk about the ending. So uh if you're like if you're still here, then and you haven't clicked off, then don't let me spoil it even further. But anyways, so the heartbreaking ending explained. So um okay, so there's MJ's rejection. MJ discovers the letter that Peter wrote her at the end of the previous movie, and when she confronts him, he confesses his love. However, MJ delivers a crushing blow because she has no memories. Their history gently tells she de- of their history. She gently tells him she does not love him. But here's the thing, and here's the thing that people have been talking about. Like I've seen a few reviews. I've seen at least two reviews uh, already of this, of people uh talking about this plot hole, and I don't necessarily agree with this, so I'm gonna tell you about it. So there's what I like to call the Ned paradox, where they think in a strange twist, the memory light wipe logic feature fractures at the very end when Ned suddenly remembers Peter after they perform the signature handshake. And I know you might think that's a plot hole, and a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, MJ can't remember from one letter, but Ned can." But I would argue that he didn't necessarily um like immediately remember his past with Spider-Man. He just like cuz like later in the cuz like I like to point out that earlier before that he comes to Ned's apartment or whatever, and he reintroduces himself as Peter, and then and then you're and then and then he later finds out that Spider-Man's name is Peter. So then he yeah so then then at the end, when he does a signature handshake, I would argue that he didn't necessarily regain his memories like the spell was undone, but rather he remembered, not necessarily remembered, but like he remembered. Does that make sense? Like he remembered, like no he he just he put it together that Spider-Man and Peter Parker were one and the same, and that's how he remembers. Like he didn't regain his memory; he just put it together that they were the same. You know, Peter, he did the handshake, and Peter answered the question by not answering the question. So that's at least how I interpret it. But yeah, that's just me. But that's mostly how I see it. But yeah, so uh overall this was a wonderful movie. I enjoyed watching it. Um I think um I'm going to give this probably maybe a solid 8 out of 10. I don't think it's as good as No Way Home. Again, it's not as good as No Way Home, but I still think it is an amazing movie. I mean, not amazing, but still pretty good and still pretty awesome. And I recommend giving it a watch. Um, Also, the after credit scene did show um, Spider-Man tracker that Ned had, showing him in space, but for some reason, and although it said Spider-Man will return, that probably means in Avengers Secret Wars, because he's not in Doomsday, and he's I think the MCU is going to have a big reboot, have like a hard reboot after Secret Wars, but correct me if I'm wrong. But so I think he'll just be back in another MCU project, but not a standalone Spider-Man film. But that's at least just how I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this review. So hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, possibly share it with a friend. And if you're new, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye-bye.